Hello, and welcome to PremiumBytes, where we shine a light on the unsung world of insurance technology leaders. I am Sudhar Krishnamachary, one of your co-hosts, and with Samir Ahmed, our other co-host, we're here to have meaningful conversations about the evolving technology landscape inside the insurance industry. Let's acknowledge it. Being an insurance firm CIO or Chief Information Officer is one of the toughest leadership roles in today's world. You've got a risk-averse mindset baked into the very fabric of the industry, a legacy estate that must complement the modern tech, and a talent crisis from both the retiring side and next-gen recruiting side. And then you got the slower pace of innovation. We see it because we're right there in the trenches with you as consultants day in and day out. Our mission is to deep dive, have conversations that carry substance, offer practical insights, and help you validate and navigate the relevant challenges of being an effective CIO in the insurance sector. So thank you for joining us on this adventure. Let's jump right into our next conversation. Welcome to our episode number 25, Samir.
Hey, yeah, welcome.
Yeah, so I guess we are just coming off the going live on a very interesting topic of quantum computing with Renu. Hopefully our audience had a chance to check it out. And I think we're teeing up another topic that we haven't really touched on, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's topics that are maybe feel like fringe, sometimes feel like old news, but absolutely still very much part of the conversation in the industry.
Yeah. So without really telling what the topic is, I'm gonna maybe tease out like, when was the last time you bought like a concert ticket or booked a flight and then were given a choice to check a box for price protection or any other event protection or travel protection coverage.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be pretty much every few days, weeks, something like that. I just booked a flight 2 days ago, so I had to make a selection on travel insurance there. Recently bought tickets to a football game, so I had event insurance option there as well.
Yeah. And I guess we all fall into one type of the other consumer, right? Some people are like, oh, it's just $5, I'll just take it. You never know. And then there are people like I'm never going to check this box.
Yeah, I mean, on travel insurance, I typically don't purchase it now, with refundable, not fully refundable, but at least you get credit towards future travel. So the trip cancellation risk is lower. I do think about it for international travel. There's been a few times where I've actually purchased it.
Used it. Yeah.
Yeah, not I've never needed to use it, but I
Okay.
have purchased it. So
That's great. So there you go, right? I guess today's topic is the fascinating topic of embedded insurance, which I think for either of us and for many of our audience, I think has been there for a long time since e-commerce started. And I think the question that you and I debated as a topic is, has embedded insurance woven itself into, our lives in all of our purchases and journeys, or, is it still a trend that needs to evolve and get to a point where, it becomes more of a real woven as opposed to not necessarily there yet?
yeah, I mean, look, my observation, right, is embedded is all about sort of distribution, and I haven't seen official, let's call it industry numbers on this,
Okay.
but I did see the big consulting firms, Deloitte's, EY's, BCG's of the world, right? They do put out their current assessment and potential of the market. So it's a small subset of Total insurance in force, how much came through an embedded channel? It's not very much.
But is it not fascinating? I think you and I, when we were preparing, we talked about this idea that all insurance is bought because of another context or another need or an event surrounding it, and so in many ways, insurance should be embedded in as much of the process of whatever is happening in the broader context. But I would think in some cases, yes, it is getting embedded, but in majority of the cases, it probably hasn't really been embedded yet.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why I think the potential for this channel to grow is very much there. As much as the idea of embedded insurance is old, right? Um, even
Yeah.
as far back as uh, when Patrick Ryan was starting Aon, right? One of the things he did was go to car dealers and provide insurance within the car buying journey.
And it still
So
is there, except that I don't know if it's truly embedded. I think it's logically embedded for sure, but
yeah.
I don't know if it's practically, connecting the dots full journey.
Yeah, no, my point is just the concept's not new. It's been around for a long time in these contexts, right? So, of course, vast majority of us, when we think embedded insurance, we think of product warranties or travel insurance or maybe mortgage situation, things like that. But your vast majority of insurance needs are not purchased through any kind of embedded experience, right? Auto insurance, you either go direct to your carrier or you're using a agent. Home insurance, same way. Umbrella, life, whatever it may be. Business insurance, same thing. So I would agree that while the concepts are not new and the even scenarios are not new, but the subset of insurance that's bought to traditional distribution versus embedded, it's probably a small
Still a
percentage.
small percentage. Um,
Yeah.
but having said that, I think I was looking at just some facts on like how much investment is flowing through this, and I think earlier this year, bolttech raised $100+ million on a Series C. I think the last year CoverGenius did, and I think the year before, a company called Qover with the Qover. I think these guys are all categorizing themselves as an embedded insurtech player, whether they're a carrier themselves or an MGA or a marketplace or a platform. I think we can debate through that, but it sounds like there's still a lot of activity in terms of funneling investment and innovation and growth.
Yeah, I mean that part is not surprising, right? The potential is there, and somebody's going to crack the nut. There is some friction, and we can spend some time talking about what these points of friction are that prevent it from, becoming this larger share of distribution. But absolutely, because of the potential, the investment dollars are funneling through, so it's
Yeah.
not a surprise.
And I think our discussion will probably take a slightly two different slant, and maybe one or over the other, which is I think the technology evolution has progressed so much that I think embedding itself as a technical solution or architecture, I think is solved. I think anything can be embedded at any point, and quite a bit of technology has evolved there. But maybe the other slant is, some of these products and these journey points don't necessarily lend itself for these products to be naturally embedded or chosen by the customers. Is that the way you think about it? Do you feel like you have a point of view on the technology evolution versus the consumer adoption of these various products and touch points?
Yeah, look, maybe for me it's not so black and white. I think there still are technology aspects that have to be addressed. But if you unpack it, is it truly a tech limitation or is it an adoption limitation? I think there's merit to that idea. Maybe taking it back to, this idea of auto insurance embedded in the car buying experience. So, well, how many people use a digital car purchase experience, right? As opposed to still go to a dealer and that's where you
I don't.
purchase your car.
I have to challenge you. Like I think Carvana, if I can remember, or AutoTrader.com. Like I think many of them are now claiming that their people are like full journey, right? You buy and then the car with the keys get delivered on your doorstep.
So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, right? So you buy a Tesla, there you don't go to a dealer, right? You purchase it completely digitally. So it exists, right? And yes, Carvana and Auto Trader that you mentioned, and there's a few others
Few others,
names
right?
that are escaping me. So they are there, but the point is what percentage of car sales happen through these mechanisms? What percentage happen through your traditional go to a dealer, test drive, book a order, and then when it's ready, you go back to the dealership and pick up your car? Vast majority of car purchase is still happening that way.
On the call it the traditional human, interface channel, I guess.
Yeah, correct. So how will embedded auto insurance grow until that consumer behavior for car purchase changes?
Yeah. I guess then, allowing the technology to be embedded inside a dealer's, desktop or whatever, right? I think could be the other way to look at it. Um, but I guess then maybe what we are saying is that some industries like travel or event tickets or electronic purchase warranty are not as complex a sale as an auto or a mortgage. So the less the complexity in the sales process and the point of sale introduction of an embedded insurance has evolved and grown and perhaps fully taken over versus a more complex sale like a annuity or a home or a mortgage. Right?
Yeah, I think these are, multifactorial. So the complexity of the insurance need certainly is a factor. Another factor, right, is there a single or a few big players for that type of commerce? So if you talk about airline travel, right, how many airlines are there, right? You go to the airline website and those are your only options, right? The three major, a few handful of tier two budget carriers, and that's it, right? As opposed to how many car dealers are there,
Right.
right? So
So I guess that's another great way to think about it. Is I think the complexity is morphed by the scale of the players in the ecosystems, right?
yeah, that's right. Now the potential is there as in the space of software as a service, right? There's this idea of vertical SaaS, right? So if you take restaurants, you've got a few players there, right? Everybody's using either Square or Toast or one of these, maybe handful of platforms. So embedded insurance, you go target those platforms, and as those platforms get adopted, the insurance will be there. You look at e-commerce in terms of storefronts, right? Again, you've got the Amazon storefront, you've got Shopify, you've got I don't know if eBay storefronts are still a thing or not. But my point is, right, as these industry verticals, they get um, sort of consolidated to a few players in each vertical, the scale
Capabilities.
that
Right.
carriers have to deal with is going to go down.
Correct, right? And hopefully ease of embedding increases. Um,
Correct.
so as we dig a little bit deeper, I think you and I talked about broadly three layers or categories of distribution models for embedded insurance. I think you had said you'd read in different places and sources, and kind of like, this concept seems like a good way to think about it. Do you want to elaborate on that, and we can double click on each one of them a little bit more?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so we started with the, concert ticket purchase or airline ticket purchase. So let me just take one of those, airline ticket purchase. You go to Delta, United, American, whatever of these, airline websites. You go purchase your ticket. When you're getting ready to, make the payment, you're going to get the option, not just the option, actually, a question that
Yeah.
do you want to purchase insurance? And it's a binary choice, right? You either say yes or you say no. Um, so the coverage is fixed, the price is fixed, the carrier that's offering that coverage is fixed. I had no choice in that. It's whatever Delta negotiated with whichever partner, Allianz, I think they use. So that's all there is to it, right? And in fact, uh, what coverage am I truly getting? It's not even clear, right? I have to go through like two, three, four links to follow, only to find a PDF to say, hey, based on where you are, here's all the terms. Why don't you go read it to figure out what you're actually buying?
So
So,
just a quick a thought. It just
yeah.
emerged in my mind that imagine if at that point of journey that a chat bot existed and said, hey, you can converse with my policy. Just ask whatever question, and then you say, hey, what are some of the ifs and buts that it doesn't cover, and then it just spits out those things. Would that make it easy or more difficult, because now you're interjecting on the journey? You're really not buying the ticket. You're probably losing the price that you locked on the airline ticket, and you're deviating from that.
Well, so I mean, the fundamental nature of Delta has partnered with Allianz. There's a packaged set of coverages that are offered for a given price, and that is all there is to it. I either have to say yes or no. Now, what you're describing increases my ability to, have an informed yes or informed no, as opposed to a partially informed
Binary
yes or
decision,
no.
right? Yeah.
So that part, yes, it will make it easier to make a more informed choice. But until this paradigm changes where the consumer is given choice, right? Just like when I go buy car insurance, right? Imagine I go to the dealer and the dealer says, here's the car insurance, take it or leave it. Right? I'm just going to go to a different dealer, right? Where I can go shop for my own insurance, pick my own coverages, pick the carrier, choose the price, and move on. So why is that not offered when I'm,
Buying a car.
facing that choice for travel insurance on Delta or American or United, wherever? And for in order for that to happen, right? Delta needs to come to the table with a little bit more sophistication to connect with, let's say, a marketplace of some kind. And then carriers need to come to the table where they make their products available on those marketplaces. And then consumers obviously have to engage with it to be informed about what coverages, are actually relevant, and which ones they should get and which they shouldn't, and so forth. So it's
So I
this
guess, like,
three
if we
levels
double
of
click.
maturity that you can think about, right? That it's binary. You can move beyond the binary where there's maybe options for coverages, and maybe there's not just one carrier, but a few carriers that Delta, has connected with. And then the next level would be the true marketplace option.
Correct. And I agree. I think that's a good framework to think, but I have to assume like the consumer journey experience, then it's the reverse of it, right? The more you go to the marketplace, the more you intellectually engage with various data points and different carrier information, and then you compare, contrast, and then do all that stuff. Then that becomes the journey itself, as opposed to buying you're taking a flight and then you're just checking the box binary. Yes, cover these four things for this price. That's it, right? So maybe the easier it is to embed and buy, then it will be more of the faster and simpler products. The complex ones will probably go on the other end of the spectrum into a marketplace. I think that's the way, at least it's evolving. Like, I don't know if there's a marketplace to buy, just-in-time travel insurance for flight travels, versus there is a marketplace for annuities, for example, or life insurance.
Yeah, so this is sort of the age-old sort of debate that we have in insurance around how much of the insurance is actually bought versus how much of it is sold
So,
versus
yeah.
it's we buy it because it's mandatory. So there's balance to be had. I would agree with that. I would also say that um, there's lots of room to improve just the experience. Just because it's a complex product and I'm doing comparisons doesn't mean it has to be mind-bogglingly difficult. And you can see it in other situations, right? So for example, you try to purchase products on Amazon. Now, vast majority of Amazon sales are from actually third-party sellers, right? And you can actually compare which seller I want to purchase from and which one I want to stay away from. You use the reviews to decide that. You look at their policies for return. They're not all the same. Or you look at their delivery time frames and options. It's not always free delivery, right? Some of the sellers they charge, but Amazon focused on the customer. They make it appear as if you're just buying from Amazon, and all this complexity is shielded from you unless you actually want to understand it or are sophisticated enough to pick up on it. So same way, I think Delta providing travel insurance with options for here's the preferred one, but you don't like it. Here's a few other options, and you can research whichever one you want, and it's all within the context of still purchasing your airline ticket.
And you think that this puts a bit more technology sophistication on the carrier part in order to enable API-based, either pricing or quoting or even interaction before they, purchase? Um,
Yeah, I think there's different players that will be involved in this in a conceptual sense, right? You've got the uh, quote unquote retailer. So in the airline case, it's the airline. Then you've got the uh, platform that is being used for that purchase. Now, in the case of airlines, everybody uses their own, but you can go to aggregators and you can, when you go through, let's say Expedia also will offer you the travel insurance, right? So now that's more of a retail platform. So in a commerce sense, we're thinking about platforms like Shopify, right?
right.
So they have to come to the table with ability to have connections to insurance marketplaces. So then the marketplace is the next player, and then the carriers making their products available is the third player. And then, of course, you've got is the consumer educated and sophisticated enough to leverage and take advantage of this.
Right. So in that marketplace category, I would put the, CoverGenius, for example. But I'm also curious, like, they call themselves as a platform, embedded insurance platform, as well as a insurance marketplace. And I'm curious from your standpoint, like maybe what they mean by platform is that, they allow, as any business or any other third party to say, instead of going to these different players, just come to me, I'll give you all the API and the plugins and whatever, right? Widgets to put whatever you want to put, right? So then they become the platform. But they also, on the back end of that platform, like they're also coordinating with multiple carriers. So they also become a marketplace aggregator. And that puts the insurers a little bit on the defense because now they don't have control. So we're
Yeah,
back to the broker agency dynamic.
that's right. So while we're in this transition state, right, where the idea of embedded insurance is not widely adopted, um, you will have even bolttech, for example, it's the same idea, right? That the long-term vision is a platform for insurance market, but not an interface, right? The interface is it plugs into some other
Journey
consumer
points.
purchase journey.
Yeah.
But until that happens, they also provide the interface, and you can go to that marketplace and engage with it directly. For the carriers, right? I think the point of view to sort of consider is you have distribution channels, right? So yes, some carriers say, nope, we're going to not go to independent channel. We're going to stay with captive. Some will say we're going to do only direct. Others will do combinations of these. So embedded is a distribution channel, and right now it's not a large channel. So your mainstream incumbent carriers are not engaging with it in a large sense, other than in these situations like travel and product warranties, so forth. But if the consumer behaviors do evolve the way most analysts are anticipating will happen in the next whatever, pick your horizon, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the incumbents will have to come to a reckoning with the channel cannot be ignored.
Yeah. So I think, there was this idea that Amazon and even Facebook will all kind of, jump into this and become the either a marketplace or, the embedded solutions. But I guess that fizzled away, or maybe that it just still, brewing out there, that it's just a matter of time that it will emerge from that angle, right?
Yeah, I mean, yet to be seen. Not to get sort of political about this, but in fact, this idea of Elon Musk purchasing Twitter and rebranding it as X, you go sort of read his writings from 15 years ago, even maybe longer. He's all along had this vision of this is a single place that people will come for all their needs, for communication, for commerce, so this idea of a super app, right? So of course, in closed economies like China, you have examples of these. In the United States, we don't, and there are people that think there's a future for that. So, will we get there? Will we not? Of course, no one knows, but the attempts are going to happen.
So then maybe let's double click on the China market. So then I think then the would hypotheses be that when you have these super apps that are more common with a huge enormous adoption, then embedded insurance you would expect grows along with it, right? and I haven't done the homework on the China market, so I'm just curious. Is that a logical way to think about it?
Yeah. I mean, so the big player, right? WeChat, right? It's not just a chat thing, right? It's all kinds of uh, um, interactions people have through that one app. So, and I don't know, I don't have interactions there, so I'm not educated enough. But I would not be surprised if insurance purchase is an option there.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. I think they offer, as far as I understand. Okay. So maybe we'll just bring this full circle back is, embedded insurance is here and growing. Will this ever become so invisible? Probably not. It depends on the complexity of the product and the journeys and things like that. I think many of these things will become more and more invisible depending on, more embedded growth in certain segments and industries, right? But there's also this consumer privacy data sharing issues. So I'm curious, like if that would, especially in economies like U.S. where there is a bit more stringent regulations, that perhaps there will be a cap at which beyond which the embedded cannot grow because there's this consumer data sharing issues that surface.
Yeah, yet to be seen, right? I suppose we're not as strict as our friends in Europe, so maybe it'll be somewhere in the middle. But yes, I do think that as buying behaviors shift, they become more and more digital. The traditional kind of mechanisms will start to shrink, and the option for embedded will grow. And just thinking about so what's the relevance of this for tech leaders, right? In my mind, it's two parts, right? So part number one is for all this to work the way we talked about, um, you need the marketplace to uh, come into existence in a big way. And either the incumbents can, take control of it and build a industry provided marketplace, right? Or a InsurTech is going to build it out, like companies like bolttech and CoverGenius, so on. So that's one relevance for insurance tech leaders, right? So those of you that are in these companies with bold vision, this is an opportunity, right? The second angle is that whether you do this or not, at some point you will have a reckoning of this channel is growing. My CEO wants us to start distributing through the channel,
YZ channel or platform,
and
right?
and we're not ready because we don't have the capability to offer our product in an embedded context on some third-party platform. So at a minimum, I think tech leaders ought to keep a pulse on where things are going. This is very much has the makings of something that seems to be of the profile. There is very little progress for a long period of time, and all of a sudden there's
Something
some
goes.
inflection point, and the world changes.
Yeah. But I would think, as tech has evolved to the degree that, API enablement and exposing their core capabilities as an API for external consumption. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time. So at least the majority of the mid to large carriers, my expectation is that they're ready with the kind of capabilities needed. I know
You-
you're
You're
chuckling.
you're you're way too optimistic than me. And I will simply point you to, let's go talk to brokers and find out how well do carriers integrate with agency management systems? Why do I have to go to the broker portal for every carrier to get a quote and to submit an application and to, do basic policy admin from the broker standpoint when all the broker wants to do is live in their agency management system. So, there's a lot of room for improvement and growth there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think with that we can wrap. What I'm fascinated in this discussion is we barely mentioned AI and large language models in the last 30 minutes, and I'm really excited that we were actually able to come up with a topic that I'm not saying it's unrelated, but nevertheless, I think this merits its own attention and a deeper dive and readiness on the insurance technology leaders' part, right?
Yeah, that is our place in this noisy world, right? To take a topic and go deep into it. Of course, we're still limited by, how much can you do in 30 minutes, but nonetheless, unpack things to the extent we can.
Yeah. No, that's great. With that, I think we'll wrap. So I request our audience, if you have a point of view on embedded insurance and either on the tech side or on the consumer behavior side or the product side, please share with us, like, comment, share and subscribe in all our channels. And we'll look forward to seeing you again on the next episode.
And that's a wrap for today's conversation on PremiumBytes, where we shine a light on the unsung world of insurance technology leaders. Thank you for joining us on this adventure and being part of our community. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow us. Until next time, take care.